Chapter 1 Prologue. You are listening at FameTV.info. A man was knocked to the ground, his neck was touched with the cold chill of a sword, his blood-red eyes stained with bottomless hatred. Standing opposite was a man wearing a black robe, a clearly good-looking man, but his slightly raised lips revealed 120,000 points of evil. The man's heart was barking, "Kill him! Kill him!" But the hand holding the sword was motionless. Instead he began to ramble about the passing years, from how he destroyed the man's family, strangled the man's parents and siblings, reviling in the man's persecution these past years. "Stop talking nonsense. It's time to kill him." The handsome man's heart let out a loud roar. When he was finally able to control his own sword, he was spared a horse, and the dying woman who should have been unable to move suddenly grabbed a dagger and shoved it into his heart. He could not believe what had happened and slowly turned his head. His eyes were dark with love, hate, and strong unwillingness. "I'm sorry." The woman choked. This protracted war finally came to an end, but the villain's death does not mean the end, but the beginning of everything. The handsome man who should have died, was now standing in a vast sea of stars. His black robe was replaced with skin-tight clothing and he was gazing at the watch on his wrist. Strictly speaking, it was not a watch, but an AI. The man was named Zhou Yunsheng. He originally lived in the high-tech world of 2458, and was one of the top hackers. One day, when he finished a transaction on the Star Network and was about to log out, an existence similar to a black hole called a God space sucked him into a different dimension. There, he was loaded into a villain system. Then he set foot on a path of no return. The path of the villain who could not die. He obviously knew that he should not touch that man's woman, should not steal the master's treasures, should not bully that boy's brother, should not suppress that man's family, but he was under the control of the system and had to do obviously stupid things, a road that only lead to death. Even more frustrating was that whenever he had the opportunity to stab, slash, or shoot to kill someone important, the system would enter a large number of lines for him read, and then he had to lose hope. 'Cause there would always be a person silently waiting behind him with a knife. It was inevitable. Zhou Yunsheng looks handsome, even if not smiling. His mouth always had a slight raise, it showed that he should be a gentleman. However, he was in fact the opposite. He was insidious, good at disguises, and his desire for control was intense. A person who usually treats the network as a plaything became a system pawn. That kind of great psychological gap caused his heart to be filled with a thirst for violence. He will have his vengeance on the Lord God. If he was an ordinary person, maybe they would search for clues in each new world, or cooperate with the system, slowly enhance their strength, and then explore to find the source of the Lord God, in order to destroy it. However, Zhou Yunsheng was a hacker. No one knows the essence of data better than hackers. If it can be the world's most orderly, most sophisticated, most stable machine, it can also be the most chaotic, most out of control, the most vulnerable existence. And in this virtual world the omnipotent main god was just a set of data. If you want to destroy it, you do not need to overwhelm it with general power, you only need a small mess of code, commonly known as a virus. That he was looking forward to that prospect. Now, Zhou Yunsheng was playing with the AI on his wrist. That AI was the gift the Lord God gave him. The villain system. The system had its own code number 007, and its voice was a male voice. It was responsible for issuing the tasks assigned by the Lord God. If the task failed, it was also responsible for issuing punishment, and when the host did not listen, it could temporarily control their body. If necessary, the host would be obliterated. If he was an ordinary person, he would fear or hate this system, but Zhou Yunsheng felt otherwise. At the moment, he was trying to suppress his heart's ecstasy and excitement. He was a hacker. Just give him a computer and he would be able to conquer the world. The Lord God had provided him the handiest tool. After countless reincarnations, in this reincarnation, when he finally completed his villain mission, he was not been sent to the main god's main space, but came to this vast sea of stars, and 007 was finally implanted with the virus to break the program. The system that threatened him was completely obliterated. 007 was now unable to release tasks, couldn't speak, couldn't control the host's body. instead it became a master instrument controlled by the host. Zhou Yunqing stretched out his fingertips, slowly debugging the AI, his eyes twinkling with anticipation of fun. The vast galaxy in front of him was a secret space created by 007, he could avoid the Lord God's ubiquitous monitoring. It was safe, it was charming, it was his shelter. He wandered through the galaxy, held a bright star in front of himself to observe, and gently put it back. This seemingly vast expanse of universe, was in reality a place where anything could be reached with only a thought. The so-called powers did not mean physical strength, but the spirit. Zhou Yunqing softly smiled, his fingertips disappeared into the sea of stars. He can't wait to pollute this Lord God's perfect world. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.